Alright, it's a fairly late one, but we're just gonna go for it anyway. Here's Iman Ghadzi doing his thing, convincing you that, what is this? 2025 will be the last easy year for making money online. Alright, okay. Is it? So you want to create some scarcity in there? Is it because you've got a course to sell? I'm not seeing any courses just yet. Interesting. Right, well, let's see what he's got to say anyway.
All right, so listen up. They say it takes 6 months to change your life, and I can tell you honestly, hand on heart, that that is true. 6 months.
I mean, 6 months isn't a lot of time. It's enough time to maybe lose some weight, okay? It's enough time to maybe make a start on something. So I'll give you an example. When I was going into financial services, which is my job now, it took me 6 months to do the vetting and to take the exams. Okay, 6 months. But I hadn't earned any money. Okay, I was just learning the skills. So it wasn't enough. I mean, you could argue it was enough to change my life, but I hadn't earned any money by the time that I got to the end of those 6 months. So,
Months is genuinely enough to transform everything. Your
also,
life.
where is he? He looks like he's in London or something. It's quite a nice area, that. It looks like somewhere in northwest London. I used to live there. Anyway,
Your income, your mindset, your entire worldview. But here's the thing: you might only have 6 months left before the biggest opportunity that I've honestly seen in my entire decade now of being an entrepreneur disappears forever. And
I mean, he's not really an entrepreneur, though, is he? I mean, he is, but in a way that not in the way that he wants you to think. Okay, so this guy, Iman Ghadzi, sells courses. That's how he makes his money. Okay, so let's just get that straight. That's how Iman Ghadzi makes his money. That's how he's able to wear his fancy watches. Okay. Now, what he's going to try and convince you is that this method, this magical thing that he's about to tell you about, is what is going to make you rich. Okay, so let's see what he's got to say.
I am not exaggerating. And in fact, I believe this so wholeheartedly myself that right now I should not be here. Right now I'm meant to be in the South.
um, no, you should be, because this is how you make your money. You make little adverts on YouTube and it directs people to your course or whatever it is you're selling. So you should be on this platform right now. So that's a lie.
South of France on a $350,000 trip that I literally woke up.
Oh wow, $350,000 trip. You know what's so funny about these people is that they think that it's going to impress people, but you talk to actual people who have a lot of money. They're not spending £350,000 on a trip. They're keeping it. They're investing it into assets. It gets to a certain point where people have so much money that the only thing to do with it is to buy more assets. That's why we're having this rich and poor divide problem. Okay, you know, sure, you might be able to spend $350,000 on a trip, but the really, really rich people do not care what you think about them. Okay, so let's just get that straight. So, anyway, so basically, what I'm saying is he's an idiot, all right?
Up 2 days into a 7-day trip and told my assistant in the morning, get the plane ready for early afternoon.
Get the plane ready. Wow. Wow, that's so impressive. What an important guy. Well, he must be really rich if he's got a plane. That's what he wants you to think. All right, let's see what else he has to say.
I am flying back and I'm getting back to work. And I literally just left this 350,000 euro trip that I spent months arranging with my friend because
No, he didn't spend months arranging that trip. His assistant will have spent months arranging that trip if you follow the trajectory of his story, the plot of his story. Okay, he talked about having an assistant. Okay, he did not spend months arranging that trip. Okay.
frankly, right now, I don't care about anything else except for the opportunities that are in front of us in the second half of 2025. So what
What you care about is being here today, making sure that you're drumming up a lot of excitement so that when the time comes, you can sell us something. That's what you're interested in.
I'm about to talk about in today's video is either going to make you very wealthy, or you are going to look back in 2 years with some very serious regret.
He's doing the whole scarcity thing. It's brilliant. It's brilliant sales when he's like, well, if you don't act now, then the opportunity's going to be gone. We do exactly the same thing with mortgages. Right? We say if you don't act now, all right, you're not going to secure this rate. I can't believe it. Or we do this thing with insurance. We do the exact same thing. We say, if you don't do it now, it's going to be more expensive in future. It's just classic sales speak, but he's doing it on a different scale. Do you know what I mean? Because he's trying to sell you something that has very little return on investment.
Because 2025 maybe, and you never know, I could be wrong, but from everything I've seen, and in fact everything that I'm living through and experiencing right now, 2025 may be the last year where for the average person, without connections, without any sort of special advantages, will be accessible.
But that's always been the case. All right. There's this book called The Unfair Advantage, and it basically talks about a guy who essentially had a bunch of unfair advantages. And what he was really talking about was his family connections, really. And the fact that he'd been sent to a private school and the fact that he had, inherited the money. That's what he was talking about. But he wanted you to think that you had the slightest chance of it being for you. Okay? All right, sometimes it happens. Some people are really fortunate and they work hard and they're also a bit lucky. But what he's trying to say is for the average person, the average Joe on the street who makes 2 grand a month and has got loads of debt, that this is the last chance. And what's he going to say? I bet he's going to tell us his method. Or he's going to allude to something that was going to come in future, like another video or something like that. He's going to sell us on something that we need to look out for.
I don't want to say easy. Nothing in life is easy. I want to make that very, very clear. But will be accessible for the average person. So if you ever feel like you have been late to the party, maybe you were late to the party with the internet, which I assume for most of you watching this,
He's going to talk about AI, isn't he? He's going to talk about AI or something like that.
You're probably on the younger side of things. In 2005, some of you may have been 15 years old or maybe 6 years old or maybe.
Oh, it's such a shame when you're 6 years old and you're not, investing into internet and tech companies. It's so annoying, isn't it? When you're 6 years old and you can't, you don't have access to a brokerage account to gamble on stocks.
9 years old or maybe even 19 years old. So if you feel like you missed out on the internet, if you feel like you missed out on Bitcoin, this is the generational opportunity that we're living through.
I wonder what's he gonna say? Because the thing is, right, when Bitcoin was happening, I was literally like, when it was so cheap, I remember being aware about it, right? And now I remember this guy on Instagram, I think it was, because I was quite into fitness. He tried to sell me like steroids, but he said that he was only going to get paid in Bitcoin. I genuinely think that dude, if he managed to do it, will be a billionaire by now. But I was aware of it, but I was like 13, 14, just getting into social media, as in using Instagram, just getting into fitness and things like that. So he is right in a way that people have missed stuff. But do you know what I mean? It's the kind of thing. Oh, I should have been 6 years old investing into tech and internet companies. Oh, I should have been 10 years old investing into real estate. I mean, come on now. Let's see what he's gonna sell us.
So if you have felt this gnawing feeling that you constantly miss the boat, please watch this video. So I've been an entrepreneur now for 10.
I'm invested because I want to know. Oh, I've accidentally muted it. That's funny.
Grandpa in this space, even though I'm really not that old, and I've watched every major opportunity come and go without.
Oh no, you haven't. You actually haven't though, because you sell courses. You haven't seen every major opportunity come and go. Right, you weren't around in the 19 whenever it was before Black Friday, 100 years ago. You weren't there. There's been so many different opportunities, Ponzi schemes and such alike. It's a load of rubbish.
Drop shipping, whether that be Bitcoin, you name it. And as I said, I've constantly seen these people look back and go, man, I really missed that opportunity, whether that was Bitcoin or whether that was early days of social media or whether that was Facebook ads when they were dirt cheap. But you need to ask.
Yeah, but the thing is, even with Facebook ads, right, the fact is that you're not Mark Zuckerberg. So the person who's making the most money from these things is Mark Zuckerberg. He is the person who has the monopoly on these things. Okay? having cheap Facebook ads isn't going to make you as rich as this guy wants you to think it's going to make you.
Yourself, did you truly miss those opportunities, or were they really not that accessible?
Well, what he wants us to think is that they were not that accessible. Why? Because we're either too young or too stupid or whatever. So he's going to give us the path. Watch.
If Bitcoin was so accessible for everyone in 2011 or 2012, why weren't more people investing in it? If Facebook ads were so easy, or dropshipping was so easy in 2013 or 2014, why wasn't everyone doing it? So here's a little reframe I want to give you. Maybe you didn't miss those opportunities. Maybe those opportunities were just not accessible to the common person in the first place. Maybe they were
That's a load of rubbish. You know why? Because during the whole Bitcoin thing, all right, I knew how to get it, even when I was like 14. Okay, I just didn't want to do it. Why? Because I don't know. Why not? Like, I was 14, for goodness sake. I didn't have two pennies to rub together. And that's just a common trend. The fact is that often the new innovations are actually inaccessible due to finances. But this guy wants you to think that it's something to do with technology or whatever else. It's usually to do with money. That's always the case. The people who have more money have access to better deal flow. Okay, listen to the Prof G podcast, for goodness sake. This guy is like a fantastic deal flow because he's already rich. Do you know what I mean? So there is a big transition, to be fair, going from poor to rich. But what you can do as an average person, really, the truth of the matter is, you can just make your situation more bearable, more livable. You can do certain things that makes it more bearable, like paying off debt, having an emergency fund, and things like this. But this guy wants you to think that it's all or nothing. I just disagree with that.
there were massive barriers, whether those be technological barriers, whether those be financial barriers, whether those be knowledge barriers, gate kept information that would have simply stopped you even if you had seen the opportunity in front of you. And maybe if that is true, then the real question isn't, why did I miss everything? Maybe the real question is, what's different now that makes this opportunity so accessible to me? Because
I don't know, Iman, with your ChatGPT script. Or your ghost written script, what makes this opportunity so special? Tell me, I'm eager to know.
what I'm about to show you, truly for the first time ever in history, all barriers have been dropped. They have
Oh,
been
has it, has
completely
it,
eliminated.
has it, has it. Oh, so this is the first time in the whole of the human history that there's going to be no barriers to entry to this thing that's going to make you filthy rich, okay? Because that's clearly how business works, isn't it? Because if all the barriers were dropped and everybody became billionaires overnight, then we would only value the trillionaires and the quantillionaires, wouldn't we? Ugh, just
But there's always a window in absolutely everything where the barrier to entry is low enough that the common person can get in, but not enough people are doing it yet that's saturated. And I believe right now we are in that window. Going back
So what he's talking about is this concept called a blue ocean market. So what he's talking about with the other things like Bitcoin and the tech bubble and the internet is that they became red ocean markets very quickly. So what he's saying here is that he has found and identified a blue ocean market. But the thing is, you've got to think about this, right? If this supposedly rich person here, which I think he is because obviously he sells courses and he's done very well out of it, thank you very much. What he's saying is, I'm telling you about a new blue ocean market that hasn't been saturated, and you are lucky enough to be one of the 110,000 people today, as part of my 5.67 million subscribers, who are going to see this new blue ocean market. If it was truly a blue ocean market, he would have already monopolized it because that's what a prudent businessman would do.
to the Bitcoin example, everyone thinks that they would be multimillionaires if they had just invested in 2010 or 2011 or whatever it may be. And yeah, I guess maybe you would have, but likely what would have happened is you would have been stopped by barriers that you didn't even know existed. You need to understand that in 2010, 2011, trying to on ramp fiat currency into Bitcoin, it was extremely difficult for the common person to even get access or buy crypto. A world that was considered such a black market back then, it
It
just
was actually, I do agree with that. I remember this guy obviously only accepting Bitcoin when he was trying to, sell me some steroids. As a 14-year-old, he was trying to sell steroids via Instagram. I I knew how to get a hold of Bitcoin, but I wasn't prepared to do it because there was obviously a mental barrier. So I do agree with what he's saying here.
simply wasn't possible for the everyday person. You couldn't simply just download Coinbase. You couldn't just on ramp with your credit card or a
Yeah, but there was still ways to do it though, wasn't there? It was less obvious, but you just had to look a little harder.
send a bank wire. Those didn't exist back then. You would have to navigate underground forums. You would have to deal with random people, figure out
Okay, so what you're saying, there was a lot more risk.
wallet addresses, private keys, all the stuff that most people just simply have no clue about. The barrier to entry wasn't just about knowing about Bitcoin. It was having the technical wherewithal and the technical know-how to actually even buy it in the first place. And
Yeah, so there was a lot more risk, and you needed more knowledge and information to do it. But it was still accessible. You just had to put in a bit more effort. So what he's saying is people had to put in effort. But this is the case with becoming rich in the first place in every aspect of life, is that there is a price to be paid. There is effort to be made in order to make money, in order to become rich. So he's saying nothing that isn't obvious.
then also know how to lose your crypto or get scammed. There was simply just too much stuff going on back then. And listen, I'm sure you've heard all the stories. We've all heard the pizza boy story who got paid in Bitcoin, and now he doesn't have access to his logins, or people losing seed phrases and all this stuff. But here's the other part that gets me. Listen, if you were living paycheck to paycheck back then, how much could you have realistically invested? $50, $100, maybe $200, maybe $400? So let's say you took that $200 extra money that you had and you invested in Bitcoin in 2014 when it was $400 per coin. Now listen, that'll be worth $50,000 today. Incredible return, granted. But it's not the life-changing multi-millions that people talk about when they say, oh, I wish I just bought Bitcoin and I would have been set for life. The average everyday
What? What is he saying?
person still would have needed some serious funds in order to truly change their life with this. And everyone talks about dropshipping, back in 2015, 2016, when there was virtually no competition. And they look at it with rose-tinted glasses, but they totally disregard the things that still would have needed to be true, or you still would have needed to have in place in order to succeed with it. You still would have
Yeah, so all he's outlining is the simple facts of every single blue ocean market out there. Is that it's difficult to get into, and that's why it's undersaturated. That's exactly why it's a blue ocean market. So, what is he going to say to us now that says that he's got a new blue ocean market opportunity that we can all capitalize on easily? Because obviously, if you look at the past, it says, well, it wasn't accessible. So what, is it going to be different this time?
needed to figure out product research, and back then there weren't the tools there are today in order to do that seamlessly. You had to manually scroll through AliExpress for hours and hours and hours and put were limited, and there wasn't a plethora of courses and tutorials. And
Here we go. So he's obviously got a course and tutorial that's going to help you. And if you look at the comments here, yes, Iman, we need a step-by-step tutorial. Why? Why do you think? Oh, I really would like to learn this. I want to. I don't know if these are bots or not. Oh, that's so funny. So he's offering something, but he's going to give a step-by-step tutorial on how you're going to do it, and that you're going to make millions off it. Of course you are.
learning materials that you could find this
Honestly.
stuff out without trial and error. That meant that you needed serious testing budget. We're talking about thousands
So what he's saying is he's already done the testing budget, and he's going to give you the free ticket to make millions of pounds using his system. Just pay him, I don't know, £1,000 or whatever to find his system. It's exactly the same thing. I remember the first time I came across the whole influencer marketing is when I was trying to get in shape when I was younger. There's this club called Bar Brothers, and these guys were clearly on steroids. Do you know what I mean? But they wanted to make you think that their 16-week course was going to get you jacked and in shape. Of course it was. But then you got the course, and it was like, this is virtually impossible for a beginner. In fact, I was kind of intermediate at the time, and it was virtually impossible for me to get right, and they didn't really give great tutorials at all. But the product was, I think, £49 or something, so it was affordable for my age. As I say, I was about 15, 16 when I actually bought this course. But it was a load of rubbish. It didn't get you to where you wanted to be. I'm still not in the shape that I want to be even now. It's just a cash grab. Uh,
and thousands of dollars burned just trying to figure this stuff out. You need to understand customer service, so how to deal with angry customers, how to deal with chargebacks, how to deal with janky Chinese suppliers.
Okay, I know that he's talking about the whole drop shipping thing here, but what he's talking about is just the facts of business. Business is hard, it is boring. If you're going to provide value to mass numbers of people, you are going to have to learn a certain number of skills. Okay, a course on YouTube is probably not going to get you there. You need years of experience. Okay. Ugh.
And most importantly, you need to be very good at marketing,
So the standard things that you need to have a successful business.
advertising, copywriting. To be honest, it's not really that much different. The barriers are still there, just in different ways. So yes, for sure, there was far less competition back then, but there were still so many hoops you would have to jump through, and so many potential ways that you could fall flat on your is capital requirements. So whether that means spending, writing, customer support, web design, a whole myriad of things, SEO, email marketing, selling.
But the thing is that these things are the things that you need for a successful business. So I don't. I mean, I know I've been skipping around a bit, but I don't know. I just want to know what he's selling us, to be honest.
Psychology, or let's take it back even at money and knowledge. You still needed a way to actually reach your
Yes, lead generation. Yeah.
but you didn't have the knowledge. Now there's a knowledge barrier. Okay, let's say you get past the knowledge barrier, but you don't have enough money. Let's say you managed to get over both, but you simply didn't have the right connections and access. This is why it was so insidious. It created a situation where only people with competitive advantages could play the game. And that brings us to 2025, where everything has changed.
Oh,
This year,
right. Here we are. Everything's changed. So all of the general principles of business that everybody's been dealing with for so long, okay, have changed. The rules have changed completely. They're eradicated. All right, the things that even the people did when they were merchants and on ships, and when capitalism first started, those rules have now changed in 2025, which just so happens to be the year that we're in.
is unlike anything I have ever seen in my entire career.
Your career's been around for about 5 seconds, mate. In all fairness.
Because artificial intelligence has systematically demolished every single one of these barriers. And I mean,
Okay, I mean, I'm kind of a little bit on board with that because I'll put it this way, right? I wrote a book, okay, on ChatGPT. It took me an afternoon. I got it to do it section by section. All right, but I only knew how to do that because I knew what to ask it. Okay, so AI has sped things up, but you need the same skills. So you need to know what you need to understand it before you ask it to. Otherwise, you'll never know what you're looking for.
completely destroyed them. The capital barrier is simply gone. There are AI tools for any function you want to create. Now, you need to understand there's specific AI tools for specific outcomes. And yes, of course, some are more expensive than others. But fundamentally, if you break down the cost month by month for the same amount you're spending on a few of your entertainment subscriptions, you can build a business that absolutely turbocharges you and pushes you to your dream life quicker than you could ever imagine.
No, what it will do is it will speed up the learning process, but it does not guarantee you anything. Okay, it's the same with paying freelancers. Okay, you could pay £100 or £200 to the same freelancers 6 months ago, and you still wouldn't get the same success if you hadn't figured out. Oh, dear me, sorry. If you hadn't have figured out your niche and had a good enough product, you could do all of the steps correctly, okay? And you still wouldn't become a roaring overnight success. Why? Because that's just not how it works, all right?
You now have access to tools that produce better results than expensive professionals.
Yes, I do agree with that. AI has made things more accessible to people, but the whole problem with making things accessible to more people is that there is inevitably more competition, isn't there, Iman?
With the right AI tool, you can now write sales copy better than any human can. They can design graphics that look like it's coming straight from a Manhattan design
Yes, but everybody has access to that for £20 a month.
agency. It can build websites, it can create content, it can even create marketing videos. What used to cost tens of thousands of dollars, you can now do for the same price as your, granted, probably very expensive coffee addiction, but nonetheless, for
But everybody's figured that out.
the same price as your coffee habit. The hardest, most expensive part has now become the easiest. The knowledge barrier is eliminated, and this is truly a game changer. AI does
Yeah, but that's the whole point, is that everybody can do it. So where's the edge? Where's the value proposition? If everybody can do these things, then where is your edge?
doesn't just have access to some information, it now has the ability to synthesize all of the world's information. Every single piece of information, article, every book, every single thing that's ever been released out there, it can synthesize it for you. It can organize it and make it instantly digestible. But more than that, AI can even do the work for you. It
So he's probably used AI to create his new course, to sell you a course on how to use AI better.
is literally like having the world's best consultants at your fingertips. I'm talking McKinsey level consultants. You've got a marketing strategist that you can
I'll place any bet that he's never worked with a McKinsey level consultant.
pull out of your pocket at any moment in time. Then when it comes to market access barrier, that's superfluous, that's irrelevant, it doesn't matter anymore. And this might actually be the most important change, because no longer do you need to wait years and years and years to build connections or get accepted by established gatekeepers, because
God bless America, I guess.
AI can now help you identify your market, create content that resonates with them, and find the most effective ways to also reach them. Whether that's
Yes, but that's not what you're understanding, Iman, is that because everybody can do that, okay, everybody will do that, okay, and because the market is efficient, these markets have already been looked into and have already been exploited. So where's the edge?
through building your own audience, partnering with influencers, or building other distribution channels. The barrier to get your product in front of customers has been dramatically lowered. So here's what
So what he means by the barrier has been dramatically lowered, what he means is that it's less costly. That's all he means.
makes this moment so historic and so special. For the first time ever, all three barriers have been eliminated simultaneously.
They haven't, because you've still got the problem that fundamentally, if you don't have a good product, just because you have all the tools and all the things in their right place doesn't mean that you actually are able to create a fantastic product that the marketplace is hungry for.
This has literally never happened before, because previously, yeah, maybe you might eliminate one barrier, but then there's another one, or maybe there's two barriers eliminated, but there's still one that you have to get over. With AI, the average person with no unique abilities, with no competitive advantage, with no skill set, with no connections, can now actually compete at the highest levels in the most.
So I partially agree with this. So the barriers have decreased. However, there's still the issue of product. What is it that you're selling to people that is so revolutionary and new that is going to change their life and is going to make you into an overnight billionaire? You still have the issue of product.
Profitable online spaces. I mean, truly take in what this means. It now means that you can create, market, and sell solutions or products, whether that's digital products, coaching services, software tools, whatever it is you want, and compete with people that have been doing it at a decade plus, and the playing field is level.
But it's not completely leveled though, because even what's going to happen is the people with the skills who have been doing it a quote unquote decade plus are just going to amplify their current experience, and they're going to know things and learn things and develop things well quicker than you can with no experience. Okay?
I'm going to give you the unfortunate.
Look, I'm not saying all hope is lost, but you have to understand that, you know, with these things, it's not a press button, make money kind of thing. Okay? Especially when you're first starting out, it doesn't work like that.
News and maybe potentially ruin this beautiful moment. People are starting to figure this out. And this is why I hope you understand I'm really being serious. I was very much looking forward to my trip. I left my trip early because it's really just been gnawing away at me for the last month or so.
It's, in all fairness, he probably left his trip because he realised that 350 grand to spend on a trip was a waste of money. Or his credit card declined or something. Right? He'll be you'll be twisting a story out of some inconvenience, is what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? It never believe what these people say.
The window of such rich opportunity is closing because the amount of people flooding into AI powered businesses is growing. And it isn't growing linearly, it's growing exponentially. Every month, more and more people are waking up to it. Right now, in 2025, you are still early, but I don't know if I'll be able to say that in 2026. By 2026, it's very likely that every online space will be flooded with competition. And I don't want to say the easy money, but the accessible money, right? Because just remember, nothing in life is easy, okay? There's ways in life.
Yeah. But the thing is that most of his audience are people that are sat here watching a YouTube video waiting for their hand to be held. Okay, that's the majority of consumers. Okay, his content is designed towards consumers. Okay, so they're obviously waiting for a solution. They're obviously waiting for his course. Okay, I'm done with this video, to be honest with you, because he's not saying anything new. It's the same spiel that he's giving, and what he's doing is he's obviously making. This is so sad. Please, God, please, this is my last chance. Oh, it probably is. Let's. Well, there's no. That's the thing. There's no hope for people like this. Let's go. This is the time. Oh, we need a step-by-step video series. Oh dear. Oh, bless them. That's so funny. Oh, one day at a time. Oh, it's just. I don't think they realize how sad this is. Capricorn energy. I don't even know what to make of that. Yes, Iman, we need a step-by-step tool on AI copywriting. Okay, I'll give you a step-by-step tool on copywriting. All right, ChatGPT. I'll pay for the plus version because I use it so much. All right, here's my tutorial on copywriting. Make me some copy for my website. Dead honest money. I mean, I haven't been specific enough, but there you go. Wow, there you go. Amazing. There you go. Right, I solved his problem. Solved this guy's problem. AI step-by-step tutorial. See, this is the problem, right? I think fundamentally this is the problem, is that his audience is surrounded by people like this who can't think for themselves. This is what he's relying on. We need a tutorial and guide. Big man. Quality. Alright, this is what's so sad about all of this, is that these people simply don't think for themselves. And they're relying on a teacher. That's actually what's sad about all of this. Is that Iman is going to continue making money from his audience. I'm done. Alright, I'll see you later.